Hi everyone, so today I'm back with another 10 things video, and I just did this interview appropriate look, and you can't really tell because I'm a bit far away, but it's pretty natural and it isn't anything too glam. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link below to the blog post and the video as well, so you can check it out. So anyway, today we're back with a new 10 things video, and the topic today would be 10 things. Okay, yet again I'm reading off my phone. I have problems memorizing. Anyway, I hope it gets better as time goes on, but yeah, so 10 things I wish I knew before university. And being a fresh grad, I thought this 10 things tag was pretty good. So yeah, let's just get started. The reason why I say practicality of passion is that I know of a lot of people, or many friends, or many stories you hear of people who like their passion is louder than what they're studying. It could be, you know, being a YouTuber, a beauty blogger, being a singer, a musician, a poet, or you know, all those kind of things. And many people midway through university, they not like to, but they sort of drop out of school because they feel like their passion speaks louder than what they're doing. And to me that really strikes as a it's itchy. Oops. Anyway, to me that kind of is alarming, just because I've grown up in sort of a family which emphasizes on the need for certification and that kind of thing. I'm not saying that what they said was music to my ears, but it did definitely rub me a wrong way for a very long time, until I came to terms with the fact that sometimes the things that we hear and see, the success stories, are, I wouldn't say one in a million, but they are being publicized for a reason. They tend to be the minority and the few that actually work out. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but don't drop everything in order to pursue it. School makes more sense with working experience, and
many people say that, like, do an internship during your break, or you know, get a job or something like that. And
I was always a pretty caught up with sports kind of person, and I just trained during my breaks, and you know, then just went home and just napped and hang out with friends, that kind of thing. So I didn't really prioritize working as a key, and I find myself to be really blessed and really lucky. But some people that I find that do work, I guess what I wish I knew was that working makes school make a lot of sense. When people started to force me to get out into the working world while I was still schooling, I did a bunch of internships in office jobs, and I mainly wanted office jobs or like teaching jobs, that kind of thing. So when I did go into school and did business management, a lot of things like how the back end works and how things are being marketed to appeal to the masses or the consumers, it then made sense because I had a experience and a physical representation of a memory in my head that I could then refer to and let the content from school leech onto. So I thought that really made a lot of sense. I know it sounds kind of boring, but for a person who isn't as academic, I wouldn't call myself super academic kind of person, but it then helped school ease along a lot better. For things like finance, I may not have had experience, but those were the things where I found resistance in. So for other things like managing people, conflict management, that kind of thing, it was really quite a breeze, because I was able to refer my textbook to knowledge that I had. Yeah. Being adventurous creates more memories, and I think I mentioned before in my first video that I'm kind of an introverted person, so I like to be by myself. I like to be one-on-one with people in a more intimate sort of context, and yeah, I'm kind of a granny in that sense, but yeah, I wish I knew that being adventurous did not mean that I was putting myself out there like all the extroverted people. I wish that I knew that I'm a person that treasures memories a lot, and I wish I knew that perhaps if I reached out to someone in need in that way of being adventurous, caring for more people, joining societies, volunteering more, would have put me out of my comfort zone and have made school a little more fulfilling. But I'm glad I started to do this, and in my own way this is my sort of adventure. I wish that I knew that I could do more than status quo. What I mean by that is that as a university student, what are the key things that come to mind? you know, your clubs, your, extracurricular activities, school, work, and you're sort of boxed into these three categories. And I guess as a uni student going in, you heavily invest finances into your education, so it then becomes something that's very worry in your mind. You don't want to be wasting time, you don't want to be doing other things, so yeah, it just then becomes very restricted and rigid. So in my endeavor of doing this and blogging and everything, I then slowly realized that I can actually do more with my time in university. And for me it was really, really short, like 1.5 years, but yet I still chose to endeavor into something else. And I know not many people like to do that, and yet they still feel stressed about school. So I used the things I did on the outside of school as stress relievers and things that I like to do. So you can definitely do more than status quo. You don't have to be a committee member in a society just because you are in that society and that's your other thing. You can do something totally different and you will still make a lot of memories. Yeah, so don't be afraid to just try something else. So that's similar to the next point, which is just because they are doing it, they, the mystical they, doesn't mean you have to. So yeah, I think that's what we all struggle with, peer pressure, and it is a very real and scary thing. It sometimes creates grounds for bullying, it creates grounds for judgment and self-deprecation, but I think that this point is really essential for uni, especially just because you are free to do whatever you want. And to some people that may seem like, wow, then why is peer pressure even an issue? But personally I found it to be an issue because I found myself comparing my experiences with my friends, and I felt sort of weirded about, oh, why don't I feel the need to do the things they did? Because I went to an overseas U, things like traveling was very popular, things like extreme sports, hanging out at the beach. Like, I love the beach, I love hanging out, but it's more so in a very, not in a groupie environment, not in a party environment. So it was like, for lack of better words, really a very granny kind of mindset, which is nothing to be ashamed about. Just because they are doing it doesn't make what you're doing wrong. You just have to sort of know who you are and be confident about it, which is something I'm still struggling with. I wish I knew before uni that my time in uni is actually a time to get to know myself, and I know many people say that, and you have your whole educational life to sort of get to know yourself, but uni is the last stretch. And if you hadn't done it before all your high school periods and whichever institution you were in, but yeah, university is the final stretch and it really is crunch time to get to know yourself. Why is this important? This is so important because it paves the way for your self-worth in your career, and it sort of paints a more colourful picture for your future.
I know it sounds really, really like, come on.
But really getting to know yourself intimately. And someone once told me that I had all these ideas about point B, where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, and even then point B was, it will always still be a blur. Point B being your future. And yeah, he asked me like, oh, then where are you starting out? What is point A? Who are you? That kind of thing. And I didn't really have answers. And then he proceeded to tell me like, how will you ever really know how to get to point B if you're unable to justify who you are? Which is a basic question. And don't forget that you need to know who you are in order to achieve what you want to achieve. I wish I knew that during times of the summer breaks and spring breaks, that kind of thing, as much as it's a time for a holiday to recharge, recalibrate, that sort of thing, I wish I knew that that was still time that was ticking by. And many times I felt like a stagnant point and time was just like rushing past on hindsight, but at that moment it was just like, I have so much time to kill and that kind of thing. So I wish I knew before entering uni that during those times I could have ventured to do other things, volunteered, or even, you know, got to know my friends more intimately in a deeper manner. Number 8, you're never in a bad situation even though it may seem like it. I think this is one thing that everyone always goes through, whether it be in uni or in life, but in uni more so.
We have deadlines, we have appendix and report formats and that kind of thing, and exams. So there's bound to be bad situations that will go on, and even then it may not be related to school, but interactions with people in school is just, there's always going to be something that for lack of better words, cock up. Yeah, but
you just have to know that because it's school, because it's uni, it's still a safe environment and it's never fully bad unless you have a higher amount of opportunity cost, like, oh, you have a family to take care of. And I know many people say this, but I really wish I knew it in my heart that what I went through wasn't bad, and the things that I said was not so concrete.
Like, oh, I hate this, I hate school, I wish I had more time, I hate being here, that kind of thing. So
yeah, just know that whatever bad situation you go through in uni is never fully bad. Number 9, racism, sexism, ageism is a real thing, but don't fear it. I wish I knew that, because I met with a few racist encounters, just me personally with a local in Australia, but this is not a general stereotype, but it's a real experience of mine. So yeah, racism is a real thing, and because we come from Singapore, many people don't realize Singapore is not part of China, and that's the common assumption if people just see that you're sort of somewhat Chinese or of somewhat Chinese ancestry. So yeah, it's a real thing, and sexism more so, all these things get more real as you get out of uni. So referring to the point before, even though a situation is bad, it never really is fully bad, because you're still within school, you still have help, there are still people that go through the same experiences and are willing to be a community with you to share and that kind of thing. Like, so things like the Women's Collective Club will come about, and you know, the discussions there are just a lot more real, a lot more caring and empathetic. So there are clubs like that you can look for, so you don't have to fear these things that happen. So number 10, it's kind of a generic point, but it is a character trait that, you know, encapsulates everything that we've been talking about. But I wish I knew that being kind pays.
I don't know if you can tell from my personality, but I am not exactly a very kind person, I guess. I'm not like ruthless. I am selective with my kindness, I am calculative, I am kind, stingy.
And I know many people are, and it takes a lot to actually admit it, but I wish I knew in university that being kind pays. You get so caught up in the competitive environment, especially in business or in a smaller cohort, you just forget that being a morally upright and ethical person, it's more important than the grades. It's more important than being a really academic person or being a smart ass. Yeah, that's really just the essence of it. Even in doing this, knowing that bashing someone or saying something that I believe to be truth on my own, it might be a different experience for someone else. So it's not something that you can ever really fully say that,
oh, I hate something or dislike this or whatever. Like,
even though it's so easy to just talk bad about people, or you know, talk bad about lecturers or whatever, just in essence being kind pays. And I wish I knew that going into uni, just cause everyone is just trying, and even I am just trying. So it's just better for you in the long run, I guess. It makes you a happier person, it makes you a more fulfilling person, and eventually being kind never hurts. So yeah, that's the 10 things that I have, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you continue to watch me grow on this channel. Hopefully, I know it's been a slow start, not many views and stuff like that, but I hope that doesn't stop you from just watching if you find the content interesting and enriching. So yeah, so that's all. Bye guys!